Hey everyone, today we are going to shoot out two Fender Acoustasonic guitars, the USA Acoustasonic Telecaster versus the newer made in Mexico Acoustisonic Player Telecaster. We're going to start off with some tone here, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit, play them back to back on a bunch of different settings. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, we're going to start with this one. This is the American Acoustasonic Telecaster. This is the one that started off this whole new phase of Acoustasonic guitars from Fender, of which there are a number of models now. This was the first that came out. This is a cool new finish though, in this kind of dark blue, which is really nice. I do want to say thank you to Fender. Fender is sponsoring this shootout as well as the reviews that I've done of these guitars. So quick thank you to Fender. Really excited to be able to bring these videos to you all. So this one is the SIRS system, which is a kind of a patent pending body resonance system. It has a mahogany back with a spruce top, and you've got a combination of things going on here. You've got your volume, and then you've got a mod knob, and there's a 5-way selector switch on these guitars. You've got a number of acoustic guitar models as well as your electric pickup. It's a noiseless electric pickup, and rolling from A to B gives it kind of more fatness and more of an aggressive tone. Whereas if you're on the acoustic models, when you roll this back and forth, you get models of different acoustic guitars. So according to the manual right here, for the acoustic models on this guitar, you have a Sitka Spruce Rosewood Dreadnought, an Alpine Spruce Rosewood Auditorium, an Engelmann Spruce Maple Small Body, a Sitka Spruce Mahogany Dreadnought, then you have a Sitka Spruce Brazilian Rosewood Dreadnought, then you can add in the body sensor to that particular voicing. Then you get the acoustic and electric blend. You've got the Sitka Spruce Mahogany Dreadnought, and then blending in the electric pickup to get kind of a double track sound. And then at position 1, you have your electric pickup. Now, these guitars are really resonant. The models sound particularly good. In fact, I've said it before, and I truly believe this. I think with the Acoustasonic guitars, the plugged-in tone with the models is actually superior to most high-end acoustic guitars with their pickups plugged in. Now I'm talking about the tone coming out of the speakers. These guitars scream performance. They're performance, going out and playing them for versatility and getting a great tone. And I think that plus the fact that they're comfortable, plus the fact that they're kind of quiet and can be played at home, is where the value in these guitars is getting them out and getting some great different tones and coming out of your speakers for your audience. The truth is, a lot of acoustic guitar pickups don't really sound that good, and I've heard professional albums where the acoustic guitar tone is just atrocious. The acoustic sound in this really sounds great. Now, for the acoustic portion of this, you're also listening to a Fender SFX2 acoustic amplifier, which is a great pairing for these. They also sound good with a number of different things. You know, if you're going into a PA and using a DI, or whether you're using an acoustic-oriented pedal board or a regular pedal board, or there's a lot of different ways you can get these to sound good. And one of the things that helps with this one, particularly with all the voicings, is any of those settings with the mod knob, you can blend them. So when you get these models, you know, obviously, like, okay, so you got the first one, Sitka Spruce, Rosewood, Dreadnought. When you get it on that setting, does it sound exactly like a mic'd up Sitka Spruce, Rosewood, Dreadnought? No, it doesn't sound exactly like that. It's in that realm. But the way that I tend to think about it with these acoustic models is it gives you a lot of different voicings and responsiveness and, you know, EQ that's suitable for a lot of different sound systems. So this guitar is really versatile to take out to a number of different gigs, to a number of different performances. If you're a guitar player who plays with a number of different bands, maybe you get hired to sit in with groups, you play through different kinds of sound systems, you need to fit in with different musicians, different lineups. This one is really, really easy to get a lot of different tones that suit kind of any of those situations. And again, I also mentioned they're really fun to just kind of sit and play. So I'm going to play a little bit on this one so you can hear the resonance, and then immediately switch over to the other one so that you can hear them back to back. Because one of the things about this guitar in general, and I'm not going to get too much into the specs and everything, I'm going to put links below to where you can read up all on the specs, but generally speaking with this guitar, you've got higher quality materials, higher quality electronics, and you have more features. Player version is more streamlined, has more standard electronics, more standard materials, and fewer features. We're going to talk a little bit more about that one. Oh, also, this one has a rechargeable power thingamawhatsits. This is rechargeable, so this works off of a USB charge, whereas the player works off of a 9-volt. Very important to mention. All right. Here is the player version. This is the made in Mexico one. Now, it is quite a bit less money, so that is important. Again, this one has, I wouldn't call them low quality materials. It's certainly not low quality materials, but not quite as high quality materials as the US made one, both in kind of wood and in electronics. Now, this one, rather than having a 5-way, this one has a 3-way switch. So, to consult the Book of Armaments, here's what we got here. Let's see, just so that I don't get this wrong. Okay, right. So you have your mahogany small body short scale, and then you have your rosewood dreadnought for your models. Then you have lo-fi clean and lo-fi crunch. That's using the under saddle and then again blending it with the electric pickup. And then you have your electric pickup. So that's what you've got with this one. This one again also has the 9-volt. Now, if you just heard them back to back, does this sound nice? Yeah, it's not quite as resonant, it's not quite as clear and projecting as the US model, but it still sounds nice. And the acoustic models, again, the acoustic models that you have sound really nice. There are fewer of them. This one is great for a lot of performers who really just need 1 or 2 great sounds. Don't necessarily need a sound for a lot of different situations, but you just need a really good sounding guitar. Now, the truth about these guitars is they're novelties. You know, yeah, they're versatile and everything, but they're novelties. It's a different kind of thing. It sort of exists outside the spectrum of your standard electric and acoustic guitars. Anytime you have a novelty, whether it's good or not, it's going to have a more limited market. And I always said when the US models came out, I always said those are great, but they're priced a little higher than many of the players who are going to want to play them either can pay or will pay. Now, I'm not saying that they're not worth it, and as far as value of guitars goes, that's somewhat subjective. These are high quality instruments. Again, they are a novelty. The thing is that, again, a lot of the players who are going to play this type of guitar, who are going to use them a lot, are probably going to be in the budget for not quite as much as the US ones were. So I thought it was really smart when Fender came out with the Player series, the Made in Mexico series. It was equally smart that they stripped it down, because this is a high quality guitar, and I do think it stands up to the US model in a lot of ways. The US model I definitely think is better, but this one is not lacking. Now, where does that become important? Well, I wouldn't say that the difference in quality is reflected in the difference in price. The US model is quite a bit more money than this one, but it's not that much better than this one. Now, we can go off on tangents about that all the time. Truth is, that's how guitars work. That's how the guitar world is in general. Martin guitars. If you look at a $1,000 Martin guitar versus a $2,000 Martin guitar, does the $2,000 Martin sound $1,000 better? No, but this is what we do in the guitar world. You know, there's higher end versions of the US one that have kind of fancy exotic woods and a really pretty top that are even more money than that one. Do they sound that much better? We can go down that rabbit hole forever. The thing about it to keep in mind, this one is still great, even though it's not quite as good as that one, has fewer features. The other thing to keep in mind, and kind of the counter argument for all that, is the US one also holds its value better. The Mexican made Fenders right now are better than the Mexican made Fenders were from 10, 15, 20 years ago. They're doing really cool stuff. The price has gotten a little higher. You know, this is still not a cheap guitar. The price has gotten a little higher. That has not quite been reflected in the used market yet. When you look for used Fenders, you know, Mexican ones get a much different reaction than US ones, and a much lower price. And there are, you know, a lot of people out there who would take a look at something like this and go, you know, well, I'm not going to pay that kind of money for a Mexican made guitar. And you're just like, wow, we're all so impressed with you. I'm not. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, Guitar Gear is to some extent investment, and the truth is, we get guitars, we sell guitars, we trade guitars, a lot of us. And if you are looking at it as something that you might not keep in the long run, keep that in mind, that the US one is definitely going to hold its value better. Now, all that being said, let's get back to some tones. So you've already heard them back to back a little bit in the jam at the beginning. That's an original song called Savannah Morning. You can listen to and download that song right there. Now, we're going to move on. So, again, I mentioned I'm playing through the Fender SFX2 acoustic amplifier for the acoustic voices. Now I'm going to go through, just kind of go through the pickup settings and start here. And what I'm going to do is going to play 2 pickup settings on the US compared to the one on this one. And I'm not even going to get to all the pickup settings, or I should say voices, on the US one. Just kind of out of the interest of time, you know, 2-to-1 on this, and you're not even covering all the ones that you get on that. And I do have a full review of that guitar coming, so you can stay tuned for that one. When we get to the electric pickup, I am switching over and going into the Fender Super Reverb. Now, you heard it overdriven at the beginning. Next, we are going to play it clean, both on the A setting and the B setting, so the regular kind of pickup, and then adding in the fatness. The tricky thing about this guitar is the electric pickup, I think, sounds best if you put electric strings on it. But the acoustic models definitely sound best with acoustic strings. Now, recommended is acoustic strings, and based on what I've read online, most people are getting the best results with acoustic strings. Because I think if you get this guitar, most players are going to get this guitar as an acoustic guitar first, with that added versatility of the electric tones. With the acoustic strings, the electric pickup just sounds kind of, you know, there's a little bit of a brashness to it, and there's definitely a kind of a heavy percussiveness, because acoustic strings just really aren't that well suited to an electric pickup. So I don't know what, in my opinion, would be the perfect strings for this. Casino Guitars did a cool shootout where they changed strings on Acoustisonic. I feel like there's probably some kind of alternative string that would suit both. I'm interested in trying it with flat wounds, or if you've tried some different strings, please let us know in the comments what you think is best. But I'm not entirely sold on one versus the other. Again, the acoustic models are going to sound better with the acoustic strings, which is what these are strung up with. Now, they do both come with gig bags. They are a very high-end gig bag. For some people with the US one, you might go, geez, I really wish there was a hard case. I actually prefer the gig bag. I understand that from a consumer standpoint, you kind of want what's the higher end, but the gig bags are really good. And when push comes to shove, I tend to use gig bags. A high quality gig bag I will favor over a hard case most of the time. So I like the bag that comes with it. The only thing that I wish these guitars had was an electric neck pickup. And that's stylistic, but the reason I bring that up is because when you're playing acoustic, I tend to find that an electric neck pickup complements a lot of acoustic songs better than an electric bridge pickup. So that would be my one desire for these for future models, is for there to be an electric neck sound. Let's get back to some tone here. We're going to play back to back on some of the acoustic models, and then we're going to get into the electric and hear that clean. You'll hear when you roll in the fatness, it kind of gets on the edge of overdrive, even though there isn't actually any overdrive. At the beginning, you were listening to it with a Vic Audio Tree of Life overdrive pedal, which is where that was coming from. So let us know in the comments, do you have one of these guitars? Do you have one of the other Acoustisonic models? What has been your experience? Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Thank